Okay. Am I ready to have my book lover card revoked? Is the real question. So today I am gonna be confessing. So there are some books, or more accurately some book series that I haven't read yet. And these are really popular. So since before I joined like bookstagram, booktube, book Twitter and all of that and started blogging about books, there are some book series that I know that I should have read by now and fill me with a deep shame for not having read them. Whereas there are some that I actually didn't know about before and have since learned about and everyone loves. So I feel like people are gonna look at me differently. No. I feel like I am admitting to some major crimes here. Yikes. So this is a video about popular book series that I haven't read yet. I will start off with one that may be quite shocking to lots of people that know me. So if you know me, if you've watched my past couple videos, if you've followed me online for any period of time, you will know that I love Greek mythology. I did my dissertation on it. I have loved it since I was about 4, but I have never read the Percy Jackson books. I know. Actually, that's kind of a lie. So I have read the first Percy Jackson book, and I think I've read about 100 pages of the second one, but I started reading them right in the height of my dissertation, so I never finished them, and don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed them, and as much as it might pain some people to hear this, I did watch the film. I did like it, but I watched the film before I read the book. So yeah, I have not finished this series. I see a lot online about this series because it is written quite well. Rick Riordan seems to be quite a nice guy. So yeah, my one great shame, I have not read the Percy Jackson series yet. Or the other series he did. But that will change because this is my boyfriend's books and he loved them when he was growing up, and I do really want to read them, so I will read them at some point. I promise. In fact, I pinky promise. The next book series that I have not read yet is the main reason that I'm filming this video is because Books Nest, A Frolic Through Fiction and Fiction Tea are all hosting the Tolkien Along this month and following months, I think. So I have not read the Lord of the Rings series yet either. I watched the films. When I first watched them, I watched them all in one night because I couldn't sleep. I haven't watched the Hobbit films either. I've seen the first one, but I have not read any of the Lord of the Rings series. Again, this is my boyfriend's series and I know that he loves it, and I do really want to read it. Like, obviously Lord of the Rings is so influential, especially to fantasy, that I feel like I have to read it. So I am participating this month in the Tolkien Along, and I think the first book that we will be reading is The Hobbit, so I will finally get to read that, which is really exciting. So yeah, I haven't read these books, but I am planning to. So yeah, these will be read and will be read soon. Okay, so the third series that I have not read yet is one that I do actually own. So at the start of lockdown I went to my aunt's house to live with her for a bit, and there was one of those kind of stalls set outside someone's house with stuff they wanted to get rid of that they'd anti-backed and wiped down, and one of those things was the His Dark Materials series by Philippa Pullman. Tasman, I'm sorry, I haven't read it yet. So yeah, I watched, I think, The Golden Compass when I was very young, which I think is in the same universe. It might be the first book, even though this one isn't. Because obviously the first book in the series is The Northern Lights, but I really want to read this. I have heard so many good things about it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I got it for free because it was on the table, so I need to read it at some point. But yeah, I am very excited. I haven't watched the His Dark Materials series yet, even though it's got Lin-Manuel Miranda in, because I am waiting to read the books first. And I have to keep reminding myself that, because I want to read them, but I really want to watch the series. So yeah, I have not read His Dark Materials yet, but I will. I feel like for every book I'm going like, I will read this, but I have no idea when I will read these books. At some point. Fingers crossed. Okay, so the next book series I have not read yet is more of a book world. So this is where we get into the really controversial stuff, because I know that so many people on booktube, on bookstagram, etc. love these books. And that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't read yet. I've heard a lot of good things, I really have, but I have not read the series yet. I have not read the Grishaverse. The only reason I know that it's in the Grishaverse is because that's all people talk about when they talk about it. They're like, oh, this is in the Grishaverse. But I have no idea. I have never read them. I hear a lot of good things. I see a lot of people talking about it online, and I do really want to read it because it sounds really good. But yeah, I haven't read it yet. Sorry. Another, if we're going straight into controversial authors and controversial not having read yet, I also have not read any Sarah J Maas books. So that is the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, the Throne of Glass series. I have not read them. I've heard a lot of weird things about them, like in one of the books apparently people bang in the sky. Not exactly sure how that works, but eventually I'll read it and find out. I think they might be about fairies, but yeah, I have no idea. I haven't read it yet. I know a lot of people have. I know a lot of people really love this series, but I've also heard quite a lot of people saying that you shouldn't read certain authors because it takes away from diverse voices who are telling the same kind of stories. But honestly, I don't really know a lot of stuff about that because I haven't read the books. So yeah, just putting that out there. The next series that I haven't read is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. So I know that these were really popular. I think I watched Shadowhunters, or at least some of the seasons of it, which is on Netflix. I think that is based on the books of the Mortal Instruments. Haven't seen the films. I know Cassandra Clare is a really popular author, but again, I think she comes under a lot of criticism, specifically in the stuff she did before she was an author, which I'm more familiar with. But yeah, not sure about those ones. I'm not actually sure I want to read them. They seem quite incestuous, which is a bit strange. I liked the series, but the main characters didn't really interest me. I was more interested in the side characters, and I feel like in the books that would probably still be the same. If you think they're worth reading, let me know in the comments and I will see what you think. But yeah, I haven't read any Cassandra Clare, so yeah. The next series that I haven't read was really popular around the same time that The Hunger Games, Twilight and all of those kind of YA series were really popular, and that is Divergent. So I haven't read Divergent yet. Actually, that's a lie. I think I started to read it, but I lost interest really quickly. I just don't think I was kind of in the right space to read, because I don't think I actually read anything then either. And that was when I was like in my teens. But yeah, I haven't read it. I don't even think I've watched the Divergent films. But I do actually kind of want to read them at some point. I think I've heard a lot about them and I think a lot of people think they're really good, but I haven't heard anything recently since like I've kind of got out of being a teenager. So if you've read Divergent, let me know what you think. Is it worth it, or should I just not bother? I also have not read the Maze Runner series by James Dashner. I think I watched the Maze Runner film. I watched the first one because I really like Dylan O'Brien. I'm not gonna lie, that is the only reason I watched it. It's the only thing that interested me about it. Because I love Dylan O'Brien, because he played Styles in Teen Wolf, and when I was younger I loved that. I found it so funny, and Styles was honestly my favourite character in the show and was what kept the show going for me. So yeah, that's the only reason I watched the Maze Runner film. And I don't think I'm actually that interested in reading the books, but I have heard that they're really good. Like, there are some people that really recommend them to me. So if you've read them, let me know what you think. Okay, so that is it for now for the popular book series that I haven't read. I can't think of any more that are really popular that I haven't read, but that might just be my brain going. So if there are any popular series that you haven't read yet, leave them down in the comments and we can discuss. If you're outraged at any of the books that I haven't read yet, then let me know what you thought of them, without spoilers obviously. And yeah, just let me know if I should read them, and if so, which books I should prioritise next. So let me know what you think, okay? I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!